columnist for the conservative magazine National Review, said Dunham admitted to the sexual abuse in her new book, Not That Kind of Girl. Quote, as she grew, I took to bribing her for her time and affection, $1 in quarters if I could do her makeup like a motorcycle chick, 3 pieces of candy if I could kiss her on the lips for 5 seconds. Whatever she wanted to watch on TV if she would just relax on me. Basically anything a sexual predator might do to woo a small suburban girl. I was trying.
Lena Dunham is a minor yet for some reason celebrated actor who in her new book has either opened up eyes to what parents can teach kids about sex or has revealed a shockingly cavalier attitude about disturbing sexual practices among children that some see as no big deal. Let's welcome to MidPoint. Her views as a writer and mother are shared in such places as the website The New Agenda, publicized as a voice for all women. Tracie Nall joins us today. Tracie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ed. It's great to be here.
Tracie, that comment that we just heard in the report is one I'm going to put up on the screen again for people to take in a little bit so they can understand what it was. It's from Not That Kind of Girl, talks about as she grew, took to bribing her sister for time and affection as well. As people take this in, let me ask you the question. There are many people now who say, wait a minute, this is a big deal about absolutely nothing. This is just young kids getting together and exploring as all young kids do. Then there's the other side who says, my goodness, this looks like horrible sexual abuse of a child. Really, which side do you see it on? I'm taking that you see it as the sexual abuse, and why not the other side?
I do. The problem with the situation is that in the book, Lena Dunham gives a picture of systematic abuse of her sister. It starts when her sister is 1 year old, and she talks about spreading open her vagina and finding pebbles inside. And in the book, she specifically says, and Grace did not resist, as if Grace as a 1 year old had the option of resisting, or if she somehow had the option of being included in consenting to this behavior. She didn't. She was 1 year old. As they grow older, she talks about the quote that you read, where she says basically anything a sexual predator would do. And then she later reveals that when she was 17, she was laying in bed with her sister and masturbating.
Okay, but maybe was it a bad choice of words on her part when she comes down to a lot of the words? Again, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here with those who say that young kids look all the time. And as a matter of fact, here's a tweet from Lena Dunham that she put out in response to a lot of this. She said, and by the way, if you were a little kid and never looked at another little kid's vagina, well, congrats to you. She's basically saying, look, all young kids do it. Maybe it's the parents who made the mistake here and not just her.
I think it's one thing for young children to explore their bodies together, and that does happen, and it's not always an abusive situation. But there's a power dynamic when you have one child who is more than 5 years older than the other child, and I think that puts us in a different light. Now, I'm not saying that Lena Dunham is a sexual predator today, that she's hiding in the bushes wanting to attack children. Certainly, I am not saying that.
Okay, then what are you saying? I have about a minute left here. What are you saying?
I'm saying that what's represented in her book comes across as child abuse. And what concerns me is any attempt to normalize that behavior or to present that as normal, because it's not. And children who really are abused are hearing these conversations, and it's hurtful to them and it's triggering to them, because that kind of behavior is not normal and it's not okay.
Okay, in a statement to Time magazine, Lena Dunham has said, I want to be very clear that I do not condone any kind of abuse under any circumstances. I am also aware that the comic use of the term sexual predator was insensitive, and I'm sorry for that as well. Do you forgive her?
I don't feel like Lena Dunham personally done anything to me. I appreciate her statement of apology, but I do think that that book was, I just can't take that as a comedic moment.
Do you see it perhaps, certainly not a comedic moment, but maybe it's a teaching moment then for parents and young girls, young boys to take it and use this and to say, this is right, this is wrong, depending on how a parent feels?
I think absolutely parents can use this and use it as a guide for things to speak to their children about. Absolutely.
All right, so maybe out of all this and all of this big discourse here, there at least is something positive that will come out of it. Mothers such as yourself and a lot of parents speaking up about it as well. Tracie Nall, thank you so much for your time and your comments. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, it's something that we're going to have to follow for some time because, quite frankly, a lot of the internet blew up over all this. So we'll watch and see. But again, Lena Dunham has apologized and said, I don't condone it under any circumstances. Stay with us because the show that questions everything, MidPoint, continues right after this.